Good evening and welcome to Tech Rewind 2020. Yes, we are in 2021, but today in Tech Rewind 2020, we are going to talk about all the major tech news that happened in the previous year, which happened to be an interesting year. I'm your host, Michelle Manuel, and welcome to Tech Haven. So after 7 years, Microsoft and Sony decided to release their consoles. PS5 on the Sony side, and the Xbox One X or S, depending on the one you go for. Now, it got boils tied to performance and design, the one you want, but a lot of preferences seem to go towards the PS5. But both are great performance and are good upgrades over the previous generation. So Apple has finally released their chip, Apple M1, in their laptops, and it seems to be a very promising one. So in a few years, it's going to look like they're going to start ditching Intel, and we're going to see how the future holds for us. Even their first generation seems to be a very tough competition for Intel, and it's beating their old powerhouses like the MacBook Pro 16. So I can't wait to see what the future holds for us. The Apple M1 seems to be a very promising one. Punchline!
I can't even describe how we are feeling.
Hey, let's go.
Hey, let's go. Apple has done it again. They have removed their chargers from their box. Now, during their keynote, they said that it's for environmental reasons, but me and you both know that they have other motives, right? So they have moved. So when you buy the new iPhone 12, they're not going to come with a charger. I mean, whether you agree with Apple on the environmental benefits or not, it's up to you. But what I don't understand is that Samsung is rumored to also try to remove their, not even try, it's rumored to remove their charger from their box this year, 2021. Samsung bad. What was funny is a few weeks after Apple released their chip, Samsung put out adverts promoting their phones that they come with chargers. Now, a few weeks ago, I went to check, all the ads are deleted from it. What does it mean? Samsung. OnePlus has finally released a flagship phone in 2020, the OnePlus 8 Pro. Now, OnePlus has previously been known to be the flagship killers. Now, what this basically means is that OnePlus used to make affordable phones, but then they put in some of the little important specs from the big boys, like the most powerful chip of that year, and put in their phone, put in a good display, add a headphone jack. They used to add these little things that make their phone very compelling, and sometimes you want to pick that over the big boys because the essential features are inside. That's what a flagship killer means. But then they used to also remove certain features that people have been asking for a long time, like wireless charging and water resistant and IP rating. Finally, they released it in 2020, the OnePlus 8 Pro. Now, it's a very solid phone with all the all-round specs. And one of the features they didn't used to pay attention to a lot was their cameras, even though they were good enough. But last year, they paid attention to it, and you have a solid camera, a 3-camera setup, which was very good, and we could call it a flagship level camera, and was solid. It's one of my favorite phones from last year. So I think OnePlus has really come a long way. And this year, or last year, 2020, they came up with their flagship, which I think is well deserved. I also made a video on the OnePlus 7 Pro, which was from the previous year, 2019, and I'll link it into it. It's also a very solid phone. I made a review. I'll link it to one of these corners, and you can go and watch it. 2020 was also the year of foldables. The Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 5G. This is the only time I'm going to mention the full name of this phone. It's just too long. The Samsung Galaxy Z Flip, the Microsoft Surface Duo, and the Motorola Razr. Now, there seems to be a future for foldables, but at the moment they are very expensive. A regular foldable might come up at $2,000, which is more than a stretch for most people. But then I still believe that foldable has a place in the future, and as more and more people begin to purchase, they're going to get slightly cheaper and people can afford it. But I'd like to mention that for 2020, the best foldable...
Don't bother yourself.
Also, I would like to mention that for 2020, the best foldable for the year was the Galaxy Fold 2. I said I won't mention the full name again. The Galaxy Fold 2, right? It did so well from the previous generation. The previous generation had so many problems. They had to recall the units and release another one. But the Z Fold 2 came with the full screen and corrected all the flaws that the previous one had. Most of them, actually. So I can't wait to see what they do next year. Samsung has really done well. Although I have some concerns about Samsung. To think of a world where you can access the internet everywhere, every time, and don't have to think about MTN connection going off and on. Well, Elon Musk thinks it's a reality, and he has actually started it. Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla, has built what we call Starlink. Now, his vision for Starlink is basically having millions of satellites in space, and that will send interconnection everywhere you are in the world. Now, the first test results of Starlink seem to be very promising with very good internet speeds. The first test results say that we should expect to see about 50 megabytes to 150 megabytes of data speeds and latency of 2 milliseconds to 40 milliseconds, which is very solid, and most of the people in the world don't get this internet speed actually. So I think Elon Musk's vision for the future is very promising, and I can't wait for it to roll out the whole world. I mean, it would be fun if you could go anywhere in the world and still have the same internet connectivity. It could be fun if you go to any part in the world and have the fast internet connectivity as you were in your home or in your office. So I think Elon Musk has done a very good job with Starlink, and I can't wait to see what the future for Starlink holds for us. Have you ever wondered how the world would be if the internet stopped? Well, amidst all the problems in 2020, we also got some of that. Google, who happens to be the parent company of many other services like Gmail, YouTube, Google Maps, and a lot of things we rely on, got an outage in August 2020. That affected all their services, and it went all around the world. So those who were watching videos could not open another video. Those who were using Gmail could not send emails or receive emails. And those who were using Uber, well, they had to switch to something maps. I don't know what they use again. But Google affects many aspects of our lives, and when they had an outage, it really affected a lot of people around the world and made a lot of people even go down in production, especially those who relied on those services. Now in November again, it happened, and it so happened to be that a lot of other companies even use Google address to even authenticate their users into other websites, also could not access their website. So the whole world was on a cyber lockdown, just like we had the corona lockdown, which was terrible. So still on the topic of Apple has released a $500 headphones that with a case that is practically useless. But with the competition being at $250, Apple has still managed to pull out a very compelling device at $500. So it's not a affordable headphones per se, but it's also not at the top end, which you get some Sennheiser headphones for about $1,000. Now, as to whether you want to get it or not, it's also up to you. But if you get money, go buy. TikTok was almost banned in the US by Donald Trump. And now he's out of the way. It seems that controversy is all down. It was due to some privacy concern with their parent company ByteDance. You know, the US and the China have some trade wars, and they were not transferring some goods. If you do economics, probably you understand what I'm saying. But yeah, there was some trade war between these two countries, and Trump didn't want America to use China's goods, and there was a whole lot of controversy. And TikTok was almost banned, which was funny because majority of the US population, especially during the coronavirus, relied on TikTok as revenue for those who are content creators. But then the case is all settled now, and it looks like TikTok still remains in the US. So all of you want to renegade, you can still do it. On the topic of 2020, 5G being released and being linked to the coronavirus was one of the major highlights of the year. When 5G was released, it happened to coincide with the release of this coronavirus that is still affecting our world today. So there were a couple of people, in fact, a large number of people who directly correlated 5G to coronavirus. And they were saying 5G was causing the coronavirus, mutating and a whole lot of things. But then after a few months, it died out and nobody is thinking about it. What's even funny is that Apple's new phone, the iPhone 12, comes with a 5G antenna built inside, and it's sold out. So what are you talking about? Those people, the same people talking about the 5G have gone to buy the phones. This world will never change. Next up on the list, we have Epic versus Google and Apple. So now, if you are familiar with games, you know Fortnite is on the App Store and the Play Store. Now, what Apple does is that for every purchase inside the game that you make, Apple takes a 30% cut and the rest goes to Epic. However, Epic thinks that it's too much because their developers put in a lot of effort into if people are supposed to purchase things inside the game and Apple takes 30%, Epic feels it's too much. So Epic started pushing out updates that will allow people to make direct purchases that will make all the 100% of the profits go to Epic. And when Apple did this, of course, what did they do? They removed Fortnite and some of the Epic games from the App Store. Now, Fortnite is a very popular game if you're a gamer, as I mentioned. So, and they did this as well. Google also has a cut from the profits, and Google also removed it from the App Store. However, it seems that Epic did this intentionally and wanted to sue Apple for this. So as soon as they were removed from the App Store, they filed a lawsuit against Google and Apple, and the court case is coming very soon, and I'll probably give you updates on it. But at the moment, you can't find Fortnite on the App Store and the Play Store. Those of you who play Fortnite, sorry for you. Well guys, that's been it for Tech Rewind 2020. I hope you enjoyed it, and we promise to try and make more tech videos based on tech news over the year 2021. It's not easy making videos and academics together, but we try our best to make more videos for 2021, at least once a month. I'm not going to make any promises, but that's the goal. So expect to see more of us in 2021. Stay safe, be blessed, bye. Oh wait, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and with all your friends and families, and let them see the video. Let them subscribe to Tech Haven. It's very important that we build a tech-based Africa together. After a long time of not making videos, sometimes we forget the YouTube tradition, but yeah. So until next time, I'll see you. Bye.